नमस्ते दोस्तों, आपका गोल्ड प्राइस टुडे न्यूज़ में स्वागत है। आज हम चर्चा कर रहे हैं बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर, चांदी की डिमांड और उसकी सप्लाई कितनी रहने वाली है 2024 में, कितना डेफिसिट हो सकता है और चांदी का उपयोग कहाँ-कहाँ हो रहा है, कितना हो रहा है, चांदी कहाँ से माइन होती है, कौन से टॉप 20 कंट्रीज हैं जहाँ से चांदी की माइनिंग होती है। इन सारी बातों पर चर्चा करेंगे और इस पर चर्चा करने के लिए आज हमारे साथ सिल्वर इंस्टीट्यूट के सीईओ माइकल डिरेंजो हैं। दोस्तों, जितनी भी आप सिल्वर से जुड़ी हुई रिपोर्ट्स देखते हैं, ये सिल्वर इंस्टीट्यूट ही जारी करता है। इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि क्यों ना इनके साथ एक इंटरव्यू किया जाए। इंटरव्यू से पहले डिस्क्लेमर आप देख सकते हैं। यहाँ पे पहले मैं आपको सिल्वर की डिमांड समझा देता हूँ। ये जो आप रेड पूरा एक सर्कल देख रहे हैं, वहां पर अगर आप देखोगे तो टोटल डिमांड जो है सिल्वर की 1.2 बिलियन आउंसेस है और इसमें से 710 मिलियन आउंस जो सिल्वर की डिमांड है इंडस्ट्रियल डिमांड होती है। जैसे सभी बात करते हैं इंडस्ट्री से डिमांड आती है, इंडस्ट्री से कहां से डिमांड आती है? इलेक्ट्रिकल और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से वहां पर 485 मिलियन आउंस की डिमांड आती है, जिसमें फोटोवोल्टिक 232 मिलियन आउंस है दोस्तों। साथ ही ब्रेजिंग अलॉयंस और सोल्डर से 51.8 मिलियन आउंस की डिमांड आती है। अदर इंडस्ट्रियल जो यूजेस हैं वहां से 173.5 मिलियन आउंस की डिमांड आती है। तो चांदी का मैं पूरा उपयोग आपको समझा रहा हूं। फोटोग्राफी से 26.1 मिलियन की डिमांड, ज्वेलरी वहां पर आप देख सकते हैं 4% का इंक्रीज दिखा रहा है, 211 मिलियन आउंस की डिमांड है। और सिल्वर वेयर यानी बर्तन वगैरह वहां पर भी 58.8 मिलियन आउंस की डिमांड है। साथ ही 212 मिलियन आउंस की जो नेट फिजिकल इन्वेस्टमेंट डिमांड है, जो लोग बार कॉइन वगैरह खरीदते हैं। तो अगर आप 2024 की ये जो रिपोर्ट देखोगे, द सिल्वर इंस्टीट्यूट की रिपोर्ट है, इसमें 1.21 बिलियन आउंस की पूरी डिमांड 2024 में इन्होंने प्रोजेक्ट की है। अब सप्लाई कहां से है? सप्लाई माइन प्रोडक्शन जो है आप देखोगे तो 823 मिलियन आउंस जो है वो माइनिंग से आता है और रिसाइकलिंग में से 1.178 मिलियन आता है। इस तरह से कुल टोटल जो सप्लाई है 1 बिलियन आउंस के आसपास है दोस्तों। वहां पर आप देख सकते हैं, रेड जो मैंने घेरा लगाया हुआ है उसमें देख सकते हैं। सप्लाई है 1.003 बिलियन आउंस की और डिमांड है 1.21 बिलियन आउंस की। तो वहां पर आप देख सकते हैं -5.3 मिलियन आउंस की डेफिसिट रहने वाली है और ये लगातार चौथा साल रहेगा जब सिल्वर की डेफिसिट रहेगी। सबसे बड़ा माइनिंग वहां पर होती है मैक्सिको में। मैक्सिको में 202 मिलियन आउंस की माइनिंग होती है। दूसरे नंबर पर चाइना है, तीसरे नंबर पर पेरू है। ये टॉप 20 कंट्री है जहां से सिल्वर की माइनिंग होती है दोस्तों। और भारत का भी वहां पर नंबर है, 11वां नंबर है और 23.8 मिलियन आउंस की माइनिंग भारत से भी होती है। इस पूरा खेल को समझने के लिए मैंने इंटरव्यू किया द सिल्वर इंस्टीट्यूट के सीईओ माइकल डिरेंजो के साथ। इस इंटरव्यू की खास बातें मैं बता देता हूं, क्योंकि इंटरव्यू अंग्रेजी में है तो आप लोगों को मैं हिंदी में समझा देता हूं। इस इंटरव्यू में इन्होंने बताया है कि इस साल भी लगातार चौथे साल चांदी का डेफिसिट रहेगा। ज्वेलरी की डिमांड जो है 4% बढ़ सकेगी। सेंट्रल और उत्तरी अमेरिका में कुछ चिंता से सिल्वर की सप्लाई में कमी आ सकती है। साथ ही अगर वहां पर रशिया का सेंट्रल बैंक चांदी खरीदता है, जैसा कि उन्होंने बताया, हमने न्यूज भी आपको दी थी, तो पूरा विश्व का बाजार जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक की तरफ से चांदी खरीदने का स्वागत करेगा। इस साल जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, माइकल डिरेंजो ने कहा है कि 215 मिलियन आउंस का डेफिसिट रह सकता है और टोटल सप्लाई जो है 1 बिलियन आउंस की रह सकती है। भारत से इन्वेस्टमेंट डिमांड और इंडस्ट्रियल डिमांड दोनों बढ़ेंगी। तो चलिए दोस्तों, अब मैं आपको माइकल डिरेंजो का इंटरव्यू सुनवा देता हूं। Hello, friends. We are talking about the silver, and we have with us Mr. Michael DiRienzo from Silver Institute. He's the CEO there. We'll talk about silver, its price trend, and its uses and its outlook for the year 2024 and 2025. Michael, welcome and happy Diwali from all of us from here.
Thank you so much. Happy Diwali to all of our friends in India. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Michael, if we talk about silver's outlook, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's been a fantastic year for silver, as you probably have seen. All the forces are coming together. There are geopolitical concerns. The U.S. Fed has started cutting rates. Industrial demand, led by the Green Revolution, is surging forward. Demand for silver and its use in photovoltaics is increasing. Mine supply is stagnant. The deficits will continue this year with respect to the structural deficit between supply and demand. And that's all leading to a rather higher silver price than we began the year.
So, if we look at the prices, the $35 mark, silver already crossed in recent days. So,
Mhm.
last time we spoke about this, and some of the analysts predicted that the silver may go to $35. How do you see this price trend? Is it upward, or in 2025 it may go down?
I don't know, and we don't forecast prices here. I mean, these are all market dynamics, and we really try to shy away from making forecasts here at the Institute. We will put out in early 2025 our thoughts on the market. I don't think it will be substantially different than what we're seeing this year. So, for example, in 2024, we think overall all demand is going to increase. We think jewelry demand is going to grow by some 4%, and we also think that that's a result of India. India's demand has picked up after your government reduced the import duty on silver bullion from 15% to 6%. Um, and that resulted in a steep correction in your domestic prices. However, it has also led to greater demand for jewelry. We think industrial offtake is going to grow to yet another record of grow by 7% to over 700 million ounces. And as I mentioned briefly earlier, this is all going to be led primarily by the growth in photovoltaics. You'll recall last year we had a 64% increase in PV with respect to silver usage. This year we're calling for about a 29% gain, somewhat smaller, but still at 232 million ounces, which would be a record in our data series for silver's use in photovoltaics. We think recycling and mine supply. So on the supply side, we think recycling will probably grow by 1 to 2%, particularly reflecting a price-sensitive response. Some people are trading in their gold at these very high gold prices, and when they do so, they sweep in their silver artifacts and coins as well. And we think mine production, we expected it to grow by about 1% at the beginning of the year. We're not even sure we're going to hit that. There are some geopolitical concerns in South and Central America, some in North America that are harboring less silver supply coming to the market. And let's face it, there are no real big, huge deposits for silver, correct? So the fact of the matter is we're working off of existing mine sites and those veins at the mines that can be found by the mining companies.
So recently, we have seen some estimate from Russia's that pre-budget estimates. They said they will buy silver also for the reserve from with gold, platinum, and palladium. They will buy the silver also. How do you see
Right.
this?
Oh, go ahead. Ask your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you see this? Is will it become a trend for central banks to buy silver also in future?
I don't know. Russia is an outlier, right? And Russian gold and metal and even the base metals are under sanctions right now. But beyond that, we have to remember that this is Russia, and this is just a draft federal budget where they said they're going to continue to buy gold, platinum, and palladium and acquire silver for the first time. It's a draft budget, so we'll have to see if that comes to fruition. Will it catch on with other central banks? Boy, we would love for it to happen. I think the entire global silver marketplace would welcome central banks to acquire silver in in the central bank portfolios. Look, it's an excellent store of value. It is a hedge against inflation. Um, but like I said, not many do so today, if any. Russia's entry into this game would be a pleasant surprise.
And will this increase in price affect the jewelry demand?
I think it can have a psychological effect on the market. Uh, you look at what's driving the gold market, okay? There are geopolitical concerns, but the number one issue at this point is the massive acquisition of gold by central banks, okay? Gold historically has a very low industrial demand, probably 10, 11%. It's primarily used in jewelry and as an investment. And central banks, led by China, from what I've read, are really leading the way with respect to the acquisition and acquiring of gold. So if this is the beginning of a trend for silver, we would welcome it. And the price could have an effect on the price to answer your question.
And increasing demand of silver ETF, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry?
Increasing demand of silver ETF.
Yeah, so what we're seeing this year is we're seeing an inflow of silver into ETFs. In the last few years, we've seen relatively small, but we've seen outflows, which is somewhat surprising because silver investors tend to be stickier in their ETFs and in their gold and bar holdings. Um, but this year, we expect that category with respect to ETFs to increase. We initially said in April of about 50 million ounces. We think that number is going to be higher. In the great country of India, it's getting much traction. ETPs, digital silver, digital precious metal products, as well as ETPs, all exchange traded products. So we think that number that we set at 50 could be even higher this year.
And if we talk about that uses of silver in medicine,
Yes. So that's a small component of the overall silver market. If you look at nano silver, which is very small by nature, given the word nano, it is being incorporated into so many products, okay? It's being used in healthcare, it's used in water purification, it's used in textiles, sporting equipment, and so forth. It's used in hospitals, it's used in wound bandages. Um, it is a natural antibacterial agent, and as such, you have the incorporation of silver, especially as we're facing the age of immunity to certain antibiotics. Silver will continue to grow in this capacity for many, many years, but we have to remember it's a very small section of the market of about 10 to 25 million ounces per year. And that includes water purification.
so 2020-24, it will be a fourth consecutive year of deficit. What about 2020-25?
We're not calling for anything different. Okay. And I will know more after we release some of our preliminary numbers in 2 weeks in November. We do a press release. It's called the Silver Interim Press Release. It's a look back at what we said in April and where the market is today, and some foreshadowing into 2025. From what I've been told, that the deficits will continue, meaning demand will outstrip supply. It will definitely happen this year. It's going to happen by a rather significant number this year. We believe that the deficit uh, is going to be around 215 million ounces this year, which is higher than some of the previous years. It won't be the highest, but it'll still be that's a big number. If you look at overall supply to the market of about 1 billion ounces of silver, you take 215 million ounces out, that's a quarter, and you add it up cumulatively from the past 3 years, that's a significant deficit, which will be rolling into 2025. So the silver market is poised for a terrific 2024. We think there's more room for growth in 2025, and we're exceptionally optimistic about next year.
And your thoughts on India?
India is going to once again be one of the dramatic leaders in the silver market, as they have historically. We think India investment demand will increase. We think India industrial demand will increase. You look at some of your producing companies within India. Hindustan, for example, was a top 5 producing company last year. We see no change going forward. We see the same for 2024 for them, and they will continue to be a leader in the marketplace. So India will play a central role in the silver market as it has for decades.
Thank you so much, Michael, for your time. And once again, we wish you happy Diwali and festival seasons greetings from our side. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Happy Diwali to you all, and we'll see you next year at the India Silver Conference, okay?
Sure, for sure, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.